first time that I really heard about this online entrepreneurship space, it was an advert ran by this guy named Iman Gaji, who you might know. And he was younger than me. I think I was about 21, 22 years old. And his advert started with him saying, so I'm a 19-year-old high school dropout and I'm rich and I've got this and I've got, I'm in Cape Town and I fly private jets, whatever it was, right? And I thought he was such a dick. I was looking at the advert thinking, fucking liar, scammer, cheater, he's just exaggerating, bet he doesn't make that much money. These were all the beliefs that I had. I was so certain that someone couldn't be having that level of success. What I didn't realize was that my beliefs were actually more of a reflection of myself than the other guy. Around 2-3 years after that point, Iman's assistant met me in my hotel in London and then gifted me this Rolex, which is custom engraved for when I hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. It says in the back there, 1 million Adonises. I thought he was lying about his success, but I actually don't think he was. And it's interesting that I went on to be, an entrepreneur, that other people actually think that I'm lying now, or that I'm scamming, or that I'm cheating. It's actually quite prevalent on the internet that a lot of people think like influencers and entrepreneurs are scammers, liars, cheaters. And I won't lie to you, some of them probably are, 100%, some of them are. But some of the biggest guys you see, like Andrew Tate, for example, the amount of times I heard that Hustlers University is a scam. When you've actually come into this space and started to buy some of these online programs, you know for a fact that they're not actually scams. Like, you can question the quality of the content in there. You can question, the refund policy or something. But to say that it's a scam is very, in my opinion, it's very insecure. If you've wanted to be an entrepreneur for a little while, you've probably seen so often of all these videos online, you've probably have thought, or maybe still do think, that I'm scamming or lying or whatever. Because if I told you how much money that I make, you probably wouldn't believe me. And I don't blame you, because a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed me either. So it's crazy how that works, where I've now stepped into the place where some kid could be watching me on YouTube thinking, yep, you're a liar, scammer. If that kid becomes successful in the next few years, he'd realize, just like I did. After I saw that advert of Iman's, what I did was I was working in a homeless shelter, which is a very tough time for me. So I was working, part-time. I had a psychology degree. I had followed the advice that everyone said, which was go to school, study a degree, get a job. And so I was working in this homeless shelter doing night shifts. It was brutal. It was so fucking brutal, literally. So my shift would be midnight to 8 a.m. Really think about that, midnight to 8 a.m. So at 11:30, I'm getting ready. I'd stay over there over the night, helping the homeless guys and stuff. And it was always so scary and everything. I followed the normal path of what was recommended to me. And this was my reality. I was sat in this tiny fucking office underground, in the sort of shelter, the accommodation where the homeless guys would sleep in, watching an advert of this kid who was younger than me, who was saying that he was a multi-millionaire, that he had retired his mother, that he was making so much money. I didn't believe it at first, but I did consider more, entrepreneurship. I was watching more videos. I started to try entrepreneurship. I started to try drop shipping and e-commerce, and I wrote some ebooks and I posted some videos. And I remember that all of that kind of just led to the moment that, I really thought that this was something I could go all in on. And I'll try and ask my editor to just put up a picture. There's a post that I wrote on Reddit about 4 years ago, which is of me saying that I was getting literally 0 views on YouTube. Think about that. I was getting 0 views on YouTube. That's the point that I was at, but I actually went all in on entrepreneurship. I quit that job. I moved back home. So I broke up with my girlfriend. I moved back home to my parents' home right here. And I just started to grind away on that business that I literally posted online was getting 0 views. So this was at the start of COVID, and I started to just work on it. And the belief kind of came in of okay, well, if I grow my subscribers and I eventually sell something to the subscribers, then I should be able to make money. The belief started to really form of wait, entrepreneurship would actually work. It makes sense. So I'm at home through COVID lockdown. Everyone's fucking around, being lazy as fuck, which is a separate point entirely, honestly. But the people who didn't become successful over COVID, shame on you. Shame on you. If you didn't get fit and jacked and lean during COVID, you're probably a fucking idiot, honestly. I'm just gonna tell the truth. You had years of free time. All this bakwas you've been chatting to yourself saying if I exercise more if I had time, I'd build a business if I had time. Motherfucker, you had time during COVID, and if you didn't get successful and jacked and lean during COVID, you're a fucking pussy. Honestly, that's just my opinion. You can disagree if you want, if you've got low testosterone, but it is just the truth. And any fucking pussy who disagrees, whatever a excuse they want to use, like, oh, but my mental health was bad. So was mine. Fucking improve it. That's a part of your self-improvement journey. It takes like 1 hour a day to improve your mental health. Stop being a little bitch, just meditate and journal and go step outside into nature and exercise, get some sunlight. That's a separate point. But basically, I have the single greatest COVID transformation of all time. I went from being on government welfare, which in the UK is called universal credit. I was getting £300 a month, and I just fucking grinded. I just kept on uploading videos. Every day I was going outside and working out on the gymnastic ring. So it was like this really wholesome time of like, everyone was panicking, everyone was afraid of COVID, you know, it's weird shit's happening, everyone's just being lazy as fuck and watching Netflix, whilst I was in the biggest grind of my life. I was waking up at 5 a.m, going out into the dark and running to this spot where there was like the perfect tree to set up my gymnastic rings, and I'd hit this workout, like this, you know, ring dips and pull-ups and stuff first thing in the morning, military discipline mindset, run back home, start recording videos. I grew to a few hundred subscribers, and eventually I started to do what's called coaching, where basically people paid me like $10, $20 an hour to hop on a call with them, and for me to just give them advice or to shout at them and call them pussies, to give them like motivation, accountability. That actually started to do really well. Like I had a pretty good personality for it. Eventually I scaled that up to 1.5, 2,000 a month with less than a year in. So I started May 2020. By January, I hit £1,500, which isn't, you know, a crazy amount, but it was a full-time income over COVID that I had started by myself as a new entrepreneur. And imagine when you've got no expenses, you don't even have a car, I didn't even have friends, and I'm suddenly making 1.5k. It's like I stacked the money. I started giving money to my parents and everything. From that point, I kept on growing the YouTube channel, got to 1 million, got to 2 million. I've really like not been focusing on YouTube for the last like 1.5 years. So basically my YouTube channel stayed like at the same points. But instead I released a product, like a online community with coaching calls and courses. It's called like a school community. It's called Adonis School. And that took off. I became financially free. I retired my father. I remember the exact moment that I messaged him and I told him that I was gonna retire him and that he could take off the taxi stickers that he had on his car. Basically, my dad was a taxi driver, and to be a taxi driver, you have to put on like these lame ass stickers that show you're a legal taxi driver. And imagine it's like what that would do to a man's status and self-image, where you've got on your own car fucking stickers that say that you work like a minimum wage job of like a taxi driver. And I said to him, like, you can take those off now. And he was coming home, and I was ready to record. You know, I was gonna record like this moment. It's gonna be wholesome as fuck. When his car pulled in, he had already taken them off. Before he even got home, he got out of his car and took them off like on the way home. Like that's how impatient he was, that he wanted to stop doing that work that he was doing for our family. And I was able to make this happen because of entrepreneurship. Right now, my mother's in Pakistan seeing our side of the family. Like she goes like every year. I got her a business class flight. It's the first time that she's flown business. She actually was angry at me because she heard of it was like thousands of dollars. She was angry at me saying no, she doesn't need it. But she told me like it was a lovely flight. She got to put her chair all the way back. Usually she said that she gets like really tired and it ruins a few days because it's a really long flight once she gets there. But she said it was like the best flight that she's been on. There's really wholesome moments with entrepreneurship. And another one is, I've wrote this down, is that I've been on dates with like really traditional, beautiful, like kind women, and I always pay the entire bill with absolutely no stress whatsoever. And that means that, imagine your woman feels like she can be a complete and utter lady, that you've destroyed this modern day feminism where you're supposed to do like 50-50, where you're the traditional man, she's the traditional woman, and you can cover the bill without even needing to stress about it. It brings a lot of like amazing moments into your life, like entrepreneurship. I just hope that if you're watching this, like you get out of that stage, if you are in it, of thinking that it's all lies, or they're all scammers or cheaters or whatever it is. I won't lie to you, every now and then I do end up going onto Instagram and, watching some reels and shit. And every time I see like an entrepreneur reel of, some guy talking about he's made money, he got success, he's retired his family, I always click on the comments, and most of the comments are always like just so lame. It's people just saying like, oh yeah, the only people who make money are those who cheated and hurt other people. I saw that as a top comment on a post recently, and I was just thinking like, why would you adopt that belief? How does that belief serve you in any way? If you didn't know this already, if I can just give you one lesson in this video that will help you to make money and become more successful and to become happier and productive, you can choose what beliefs you have, and it's insanity to believe something that does not serve you. So you can hold on to this belief that, for example, rich people are all evil or something, or people will say like, your entrepreneurship is too risky, you should all go to university. But if that belief doesn't serve you, it's insane to keep it in your mind for no reason, just because you hold on to this. I saw a comment from this one kid on one of my YouTube videos, and he was criticizing me for having a paid product and for making money. And I thought about like how absurd this situation is, where there's a young guy who's watching my videos who thought of me worse because I was successful and making money. Because I was thinking to myself, I bet he wants to make money as well. But for some reason, his brain and his emotions have gotten into a negative state when he hears me talking about making money and, entrepreneurship, because of some level of some weird belief he's got inside, some insecurity. I can't actually explain to you how ashamed I am that I've had these negative beliefs about entrepreneurship, making money for so long, and how much they actually kept me back. Being that guy who looks at, how I was looking at E-Man, or how this one kid was in the YouTube comments of a recent video, and how he's looking at me thinking, oh, Hamza makes money, so he's a bad person, he's this, he's this, he's this. It's kind of like, okay, you want to get into dating, you want to get girls, but when you see a Chad who's got a girlfriend, you start hating on him. Or it's kind of like when you see a girl, a cute girl over there, and you go and approach her, or you think about approaching her, or you think about messaging her, but you think that she's not going to reply, or she actually doesn't reply, and then you think, oh well, yeah, she's low quality anyway. It's like, if your authentic desire as a young man is to become successful and make money, which it really should do, because it's a very, very important thing, we shouldn't be overlooking that, then when you see another guy doing that, don't get weirdly negative. Obviously it's jealousy and insecurity, but the people stuck in these patterns don't want to hear those words. But don't feel randomly negative. It's like going to the gym and then being pissed off that there's a guy who's muscular. Ask him questions, learn from him, be excited, be inspired, watch him from afar and imitate some of the things he does, learn from him, replicate his success. That's awesome. I said this on a podcast I was invited to recently in Amsterdam. I wish more young men celebrated success together. It's so weird that we celebrate the grind together, but the moment a person actually achieves a really high level of success, those people who are still grinding almost turn on them. What I've found is the people who are grinding with the best mindset, who often go on to be successful, are the ones that when they see someone who hits success, they're congratulating them, and most importantly, they're asking them questions, asking them for advice. But I found so many people who are on self-improvement, who watch my videos, who literally dislike me because they saw that I started to make more money. Which is, when you think about it, that's absurd, because they have the same goal. It's like seeing a picture of me where I've got bicep veins and then hating me on it, but you wanted bicep veins as well. And it's not like, you're saying it in a competitive way or anything. It's just because it inspires quite a lot of insecurity. Now, I'm speaking directly to the entrepreneurs amongst us. So if you're watching this, you're already getting into entrepreneurship and you do feel like in some ways people have misunderstood you, and, you want to go into business, but your parents want you to get into university. People don't really understand the life path that you're on. Hold frame. Don't crumble under the pressure of other people, and don't allow them to infiltrate your beliefs. I really wish I got this lesson a few years ago, what I'm about to say to you. Make sure you prune, you pick apart the beliefs that you have in your mind about money and entrepreneurship, because there may be beliefs that you have in your mind that will actually limit you for years, as it did for me. Beliefs that to make money you have to be a bad person, beliefs that if you do make money you're a bad person, you're taking money from people, you're this, you're this, you're this, and replace them with positive entrepreneurship beliefs. Like, when I make money, that's a symbol that I've given value to the world. When I have customers, and especially repeat customers, that means that my product's awesome. I hear people say my product is a scam, right? What I always think is, if I was only selling something once and someone said it was a scam, I could kind of understand. I only sell one thing, and basically it's a subscription educational platform thing, right? It's a community, whatever. It's a subscription. People pay monthly, right? I have 1,700 monthly subscribers to this product. Imagine it's OnlyFans, but for business. That's a weird way to say it, but it's a subscription, right? And so when I see someone who says oh yeah, the product's shit, or that it's a scam, and they haven't even bought it, I just think but it literally can't be, because I have 1,700 guys who are paying every single month to stay inside, and it's growing very rapidly. It was only on 850 3 months ago, and it's almost doubled. Yeah, it's literally doubled in just 3 months. And people are paying every single month to stay inside because of how valuable it is. But when you see the internet's response to your business, when you see your parents' response to your business, when you maybe even hear from your friends or from teachers or whatever, you'll be tested to see if you really stay on this path. And if you are a young entrepreneur, I really hope you do, because it really did amazing things for me and for my family. So I wish that for you. If you want to see the one thing that I have for sale, it's the top link in the description. Click and watch this video. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah!